is what's great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game.
Winning isn't everything, but it's the only thing. In our business, there is no second place. Either you're first or you're last.
Ain't this what they've been waiting for? You ready?
And now, the W with Walls and the crew.
Good morning.
Where winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. On 100.1 FM.
Good morning.
And Facebook Live.
Good morning, good morning. Right back like we never left. Another Saturday morning with the W Show, talking sports and pop culture. You're listening to the W Show on 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio, watching us live on one of our social media pages. If this is your first time checking us out, we appreciate it. Thank you for making us a part of your day. My name is Steve Walls, and as always, I'm joined by the other host of the show. No, what's going on, man? Good morning.
Nothing much, man. Good morning. How are you feeling?
You know, we start off with the weather every week. It's like we give our weekly weather report, but this week is raining.
For 2 weeks, it seems like 40 days and 40 nights is what we're getting right now.
Exactly, man. And it's kind of gets depressing after a while. It's like, man, another day of rain. Wow. Can we get some sun? Is sunshine like a real thing?
Man. Maybe not in Kansas City. I'll say this, and I say it every couple weeks. I'll take this over any kind of snow, ice, frozen precipitation. I'll take it. I'll take this rain.
Yeah, this is like Seattle weather.
It is. It very much is. It's very much, Northwest weather. So, but
don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I do love the 75 degree, mild, kind of cool weather.
It's crisp. It's crisp outside. It's real. Like, you can go outside and you don't really have to have too much on, but it's good. I'll take it.
Yeah, and it was good for the golf game. Honestly, how
did that go?
Had a golf tournament. Yeah, the Derek Thomas Neil Smith third and long golf tournament happened last week. It was last Friday, and it called for rain like all day, and it was it was pretty nice outside. Like, it was 75, cloudy, but hey, my golf game was on. We ended up getting we shot 11 under. It was a scramble, so we shot 11 under and ended up getting in our flight. We got first, so happy about that. Yeah.
So it was a team effort, is what you're saying?
Oh, most definitely a team effort. But it was a fun time. It was a fun time. Like I said, the weather was nice. So and played probably in the past couple years one of my best days of golf. Like, yeah, I shot pretty well.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What's up, Q?
What up?
Yeah, good morning. Let's get to actually coming up on today's show. We have a lot to talk about. So the Kansas City Monarchs started their inaugural season last Tuesday at the Legends Field in KCK. We'll dive into what it means for Kansas City, and also what it means for baseball as well. And coming up, the NBA playoffs are back. And to help us dive into the NBA playoffs, friend of our show, Quentin Day, he'll be joining us to talk NBA. And Pro Football Focus ranks Baker Mayfield as the 10th best quarterback in football. Some would agree and some would not, but we'll dive into that as well. And we talked a little bit about this last week, but now it's official. Tim Tebow's back in the NFL. The Jacksonville Jaguars signed Tebow to a league minimum 1-year contract. Kind of a head scratcher, but we'll discuss that for sure. And coming up in about 30 minutes, we'll have our sneakers of the week. But let's get to today's headlines.
And now, here are the biggest sports headlines from this week. We bring them to you every Saturday morning on the W with Walls and the crew on 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
The new Kansas City Monarchs baseball team starts the team's inaugural season. So earlier last week in Kansas City, Kansas, the team formerly known as the T-Bones had their home opener out at Legends Field. For the first time since 2019, fans were in the stands. The T-Bones, of course, canceled their 2020 season because of COVID-19. So the team name, which is a major historical significance in the Kansas City area, is part of the special partnership with our friends over at the Negro League Baseball Museum. And in fact, some proceeds from the merchandise will go directly to benefit the museum, which helps educate about the Negro Leagues. No, I know we talked a little bit before the show started, but how was your thoughts? What are your thoughts about this?
I think it's amazing. I would like to see more of it. As far as, I guess, being affiliated with the MLB, I would like to see more, partnerships and more shout outs to the Negro League. Because I mean, it is a huge part of this story. You can't tell the story of baseball in America without that league. It's a huge part. I would say almost 50-50 as far as being just like the names that came out of that league, your Satchel Pages, your Jackie Robinsons, those were the original like people that were, in the ML, in the MLB.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think it's huge. It's very huge for the city of Kansas City as well. Obviously, with the museum being here, it just works. So I was glad to see it, and I will definitely be attending a bunch of games just off the strength of it, the name itself.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing about it too is that the stadium, and they did some renovations to the stadium, which I don't feel like the stadium needed, any renovations, but they did a lot out there as far as like the suites go. And they also have some, which I think is pretty cool. They have these, so they put little squares of turf around in the stands, like at the top part of the stands around the concourse, where folks can sit down and kind of have, with couches and things like that. And it's kind of it's really nice. It really is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the community, they needed that. Wyandotte obviously is typically underserved as a community, but over there in that area, that'll be good for people to, just have a sporting event to attend. Because I mean, we obviously haven't had a lot since with the pandemic and everything. So I think it's really dope. Honestly, I plan on going to quite a few games.
And Tuesday was Greater Kansas City Day. You guys might remember the Royals selling newspapers over the past few years on opening day, but now it's shifted to the Monarchs, and they sold pennants, ticket vouchers, and which was all across Kansas City, including Union Station. Some Hy-Vee stores, I believe, had them, and also the Negro League Baseball Museum. But the proceeds go to raise money for Youth Rotary Camp, which is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm ready for the excitement around the Monarchs. It seems like, especially at the Negro Leagues Museum, just the team over there is just really trying to get the excitement for the team up, and you like to see that part of it, because the Royals have taken over here, and definitely the Chiefs have taken over as far as fandom. So I'm ready to see this Monarchs fan base really expand.
I am as well.
Yeah.
The cool thing too is that they're able to have fans out in the stands now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that
no restrictions at all. 7,000 seats, 7,000, no restrictions. So I think that's a big part of it. If you're looking to go somewhere and maybe you're not vaccinated, or maybe you're not really that much worried about the pandemic, I mean, that could be a place you could go.
Yeah, for sure. Tickets aren't expensive.
Not at all.
Tickets aren't expensive. If you want to go out and see, some cool baseball, good games, actually, in a cool environment, I think the Monarchs is definitely a spot you can take your family. You go out there and hang out, man. That's all I can say. It's a great atmosphere. They said that they'll have like different food trucks, vendors, and Taco Tuesdays and different things. So it's definitely cool.
That would be smart. That would be definitely smart of them to, draw within that. I mean, you get right next to it, you got, Sporting right there. They'll definitely, get some, some buzz here. So I'm really happy to see this, especially the name.
For sure. Man, we talk about this a lot. We talk about this guy a lot, but Paul Pierce, along with Chris Bosh and Chris Webber, they headline the 2021 NBA class, Hall of Fame class. This year, class inductees, where they will have 9 nominees, which will include the 9th winningest coach in NBA history, Rick Adelman, 2-time NBA champion and 11-time NBA All-Star Chris Bosh, NBA Finals MVP and 10-time NBA All-Star Paul Pierce, the first Black NBA head coach Bill Russell, 4-time NBA Defensive Player of the Year, and NBA champion Bill Wallace. They also have Chris Webber, Jay Wright, Yolanda Griffin, Lauren Jackson. It's this Hall of Fame class is similar to the other one, which happened earlier this year, actually, with Kobe Bryant and Tim Duncan, those guys. So, you guys' thoughts on this NBA Hall of Fame class?
Very good, very good. I think here we got to talk about Chris Webber because it took him far too long to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. He's been a great player in the NBA for so long. I know people kind of point to the controversy with him at Michigan, and my answer to that is why. Like, that has nothing to do with his ability to play basketball. Like, he was an all-star. He was an all-NBA player. He's a great guy. I didn't see why he wasn't a Hall of Fame earlier, with him retiring earlier than a whole lot of these guys that have gotten in. So it's just good to see. It's always good to see, a couple of WNBA players get in with their contributions to the game. It is very good to see Bill Russell get his due as a coach. We already know he's a Hall of Fame, player, but to see him get in after coaching, being a player coach first and then being a full-time coach, and coaching the Boston Celtics to a championship is really dope. And I like this class, just like last year, like you said, really recognizable names. So love to see it.
And here's another thing about it too. As much as we talk about, Paul Pierce and his antics here lately, he was still a baller, man. Like,
he was great.
He and as much as I don't like to talk about KU basketball, as much as I despise KU basketball, Paul Pierce was still that dude. Like, there's a reason why they call him the truth. And so it's very deserving of him. But like you mentioned, Chris Webber, it's beyond time for him to be in the NBA Hall of Fame. I mean, even in college, he was part of, the Fab Five. He held down the Sacramento Kings franchise for many years. And it's just time for C-Webb to be in that Hall of Fame class.
And I would love to. I can't forget about my shout out to my fellow Dallas native Chris Bosh. One time for him. But yeah, sorry, Q. I didn't mean to cut you off, man. But yeah.
Oh no, that's because it definitely is some interesting selections. Because I even like that Ben Wallace selection in there. I don't know how many people would disagree with him or Chris Bosh. But I definitely love those two being in the Hall.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Man, this class is definitely one that's going to be remembered. And we talk about it all the time. Q, guys that we watched, coming up, playing basketball, playing sports. Guys that we watch in all three main sports. They're now being, going into this Hall of Fame. It makes me feel old. I don't know about you.
It definitely does. It makes me feel a lot older now.
But since we're on basketball, we're going to bring in one of our guests today. This guy really needs no introduction. Friend of the show for sure, and he's going to help us dive into this year's playoff schedule today. Former Paseo High School, UMKC, and professional star Quinn Day is joining us. What's happening, brother? How you doing?
Good morning, fellas.
What's going on, man? Good to see you again.
I got my whistle on and everything. I've been at practice already, man. So.
I want to dive right into it, man. Another year of NBA playing games. This year, of course, not in the bubble, but the playing games were in stadiums with fans. Are you for the playing games, and what are your thoughts on that as a whole?
I mean, I think it's a good idea. I mean, it's new, it's interesting. It gives the players, it gives you that kind of like that March Madness feel, like you got one game to win, like, you know what I'm saying? You actually playing for something. And I mean, those last I think 3 or 4 games that just came on, man, they were actually fun to watch, especially the one like last night. You know, the Lakers and Warriors game was good to watch. I mean, it just had that March Madness type of feel to it.
I agree.
I would agree as well. But when you look at the games, now that the playing games are over, playoffs are starting actually today, and I want to look at the Eastern Conference first, right? I mean, you have Philly versus Washington, then the Knicks, Atlanta, Milwaukee, Miami, and Brooklyn, Boston. Out of those 4 games or 4 series, which ones are you liking the most?
I think honestly, in my opinion, I think that the best series will probably be that 4-5 series with the Hawks and the Knicks, because I think they're more evenly matched. I think that 3-6 series will probably be pretty interesting with the Heat and the Bucks, because you know they beat the Heat beat them last year, and I think with the addition of Drew Holiday, man, the Bucks are a really, really different looking team, man. But I think to me, probably the best series though in the East will probably be that 4-5 series.
Who do you have coming out of the East?
Of course, you know who I got coming out of the East. That juggernaut there, that Brooklyn juggernaut coming out of there for sure.
Brooklyn.
Yeah.
All right. Now looking at the West, you have Utah, Memphis, Clippers, Dallas, Denver, Portland, and then Phoenix, Lakers. Now, and before you talk about it real quick, the Lakers, of course, a team that's looking for validation, right? Because some say that in the bubble, that championship leaves them with kind of an asterisk on an asterisk championship. So I want to get your thoughts on just the Western playoffs.
Well, I think the West, man, is stacked from the 1 to the 8. I mean, the West is always, to me, one of the, it's the toughest conference. To me, it's about matchups, man. I feel like the Lakers, even though they're 7 seed, I still don't feel like the Suns was a good matchup for them. Like, I feel like they can beat the Suns in 5 games because of their size, man. Like, you know what I mean? I think Phoenix is a really good team. But it's like in the playoffs, though, against that size, man, you got Anthony Davis, you got LeBron James, you got Andre Drummond. I just think that they're too small, man. I think they're going to be too small, man, when it comes to playing them and defending those guys in the interior, man.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well.
Agree. I would agree, too. Now, since we talked Lakers and LeBron. Well, actually, before we do that, who do you have at winning this year?
I got Brooklyn winning it all. I got Brooklyn winning it all. I'll probably go with either the Lakers or Utah Jazz coming out the West, because Utah is they're pretty balanced. They're a balanced team. They got a good player coming off the bench. They got good wing players, man. Those guys, Bogdanovich is a good player. Joe Ingles is a good player, and they got size inside, with Rudy Gobert. So I mean, I think they're the most pretty much balanced team in the West. But I just can't you can't count the Lakers out when you got Anthony Davis and LeBron James and those guys, man.
I would agree. And I want to continue this LeBron James conversation real quick, and I want to start it off because here's a question that was posed by some NBA media and fans. about this shot, and I want to show you guys this real quick. Let's take a look.
It's a big time shot. Awful execution. Realizes that the clock dwindling down. The good chase down by Curry, and LeBron elevates and knocks down the biggest shot of the night.
That's a 30-footer, and you see Curry, who's had that look on opponents' faces after he knocks down threes. The same look as LeBron James with a clutch.
Luck or skill?
Ooh. Skill.
I'm gonna have to go with my old coach told me. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And we know he's not a great 3-point shooter. We know he's not the best, shooter or free throw shooter, any kind of, we know he's not the best. But I think when it comes to, when we're talking about players at LeBron James's level, there really isn't a shot on the court that they can't hit. There really isn't a shot there. I wouldn't say that, if Stephen Curry went into the paint and there were 3, 7-footers there, the chances of him making that shot are very low.
Right.
But I will never say that he can't hit that layup over those 3 7-footers because of the level that Stephen Curry is on. And that's kind of how I feel when LeBron James takes a lot of 3-pointers is he's just a really good player. So he's going to hit shots. He's just going to hit shots that defy what you think, was going to happen. So that's kind of what I see when I saw that shot. It was just a really good shot. I'm sure he takes practices a lot, and he hit it.
Now, anytime, and all of you guys know this, anytime I've ever talked LeBron James, and the reason why, and here it is, you guys, I've never changed, but here's the thing. I've never put him, you all know, I've never put him in that GOAT conversation, and it was simply because he never took this type of shot. Now, I'm not gonna call it luck. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna say it was more skill, because when he caught the ball, you saw him in a rhythm. You saw him, square his shoulders up, and he to me, he needs that kind of shot because of that argument that I just said. I mean, when you think about the shots that are more memorable in basketball history of game winners, right? You remember MJ in Game 7 versus Utah Jazz. You remember that shot. And then you remember Kobe Bryant's buzzer beater in double overtime versus the Portland Trailblazers. Those were memorable shots. LeBron, even though the numbers are there, and I know Q, you sent you sent the in our message thread, you sent about the numbers of LeBron James taking the same amount of shots as Kobe Bryant, but none of those shots are really memorable. Like, if you're going to be putting that GOAT conversation.
And that's you putting your opinion on him and making it just being overly critical. That's the word I'm looking for. I think you're being overly critical. I don't think GOATs have to have these shots that are memorable to every person. And you're also forgetting that it was LeBron's first or second year when he hit that shot over I forget what team it was, but it was virtually the same, basically the same shot.
I can name it against Orlando.
Yes, yeah, I think
the one against Orlando.
Yeah,
and he got the one. He's got plenty. He's got
plenty, and Steve just has a short memory when it comes to LeBron James, and it's fine because if I was a Kobe fan and I wanted Kobe to be number 2 next to Jordan, then yes, I would not like LeBron James, but you have a LeBron James that he's done a lot, and he's done plenty to be in the GOAT conversation.
Yeah, Q, I want to hear your thoughts on it.
This Q or
you Queen.
Oh, my bad. I lost connection and everything. Are we still talking about the shot, right?
Right.
Everybody, like Q just said, the GOAT conversation. We throw that word around too much, in my opinion. That's the last 10 years. That word I've heard that word so many times. We've all heard that word so many times. But I think in regards to the shot, I mean, at the end of the day, he made it. Can he make that 4 or 5 times in a row? No. Who can really, besides people like Lillard or Steph Curry or Klay Thompson or something like that? The fact of the matter is, he had to shoot the ball and he made it. So you got people that say it's a clutch shot. You got people that say it was lucky. It don't matter. Everybody knows when you're playing basketball, sometimes luck happens. And hey, at the end of the day, I made the shot. We won the game. So you call it what you want, but I made it.
Spoken like a true shooter. Spoken like a true shooter.
You miss every shot you don't take.
You don't take. I feel you. So, you know how it is.
So at the end of the day, he shot the shot. He made it. I mean, he had no choice. It was 1 second left on the shot clock. He had to shoot it up there.
And so it was announced earlier today, earlier this morning, that LeBron James violated protocol while attending an event, the NBA said. So James was at several of his high-profile guests at a promotional event for his tequila brand, with two backs. And earlier this week, this was before the Lakers play-in game against the Golden State Warriors. Now, with that being said, is he going to get the Lou Williams treatment? Because if you guys remember in the bubble last year, when Lou Williams left and ended up violating protocol and went to Magic City, he just wanted the wings. He said
chicken wings.
Yes.
And when Lou Williams came back, they put him under the protocol, which, to make sure that he wouldn't spread the COVID-19 virus.
You could forget about that. That ain't happening with LeBron.
Yeah. We talking about a different level of player. It's one of those things where you got to know who you are, who you're dealing with.
They might, if they do that, they might do one game. Because they know that they can beat Phoenix in 5. So I mean,
but they already said he won't be suspended. They released a press release. They're not suspending him. They already said it. So
that's not happening.
It's just one to get swept under the rug. It's just one to get swept under the rug. Q, before we let you go, I want to ask you about Kwame Brown. This is another basketball story that was out there this week. The former number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft was ridiculed for years as a bust. This week, in the hours of YouTube rants, he wanted to set the record straight. Now, if our listeners don't know who Kwame Brown is, Kwame made history as the first NBA player to go number 1 straight out of high school when the Washington Wizards drafted him in 2001. So in a recent episode of All the Smoke podcast, hosts Matt Barnes and Steve Jackson sat down with Gilbert Arenas. When they asked him about his time with Washington Wizards, Arenas circled back to his 4 seasons with Kwame. And as much as he tried to tout and kind of downplay Brown as the potential best number one pick, who had the misfortune of starting his career on the same team as Michael Jordan. So Arenas couldn't resist calling Brown a man-child and a show pony while rubbing in how he sees primacy on the Wizards. And so Brown didn't like it. So he had a social media rant, and he took to YouTube and went on an hour, which some would call facts, and taking personal shots at Arenas and Matt Barnes and also Stack. So, Quentin, I want to get your thoughts on this.
My thoughts are Kwame Brown was just tired of people talking about him for the last 20 years. He's sick of it, bro. Leave me alone. He's feeling like I'm not the only number 1 draft bust that ever was here, that ever made it to the league. We got Anthony Bennett. People don't talk about him. They don't talk about Michael Olowokandi.
Sebastian Telfair.
It's a lot of Sebastian wasn't.
He wasn't number 1.
The number 1 overall.
He
Michael Olowokandi is the one. Michael Olowokandi is the one.
Nobody mentions him. They don't talk bad about him. Anthony Bennett, that was probably like 5-6 years ago. People still don't even say nothing about that. But I don't know. I guess because he was with the Wizards and Michael Jordan's team and all that type of stuff. But Kwame's probably like, man, listen, I'm sick of it, bro. Leave me alone. Pick on somebody else. Cause I got facts and receipts too that I can bring out here and tell y'all about. So the podcast is called All the Smoke, but I think he the one that really want all the smoke.
Right.
Yeah. I feel like him he's just at a point where it's like, man, listen, all right, I wasn't the best. I didn't pan out to be as what people thought I was gonna be. But like he said, I was drafted. I made it to the NBA. I surpassed a lot of doubters. I made it to a place that millions and millions of people weren't able to do. And I was successful. Just to be picked, just to play in the league is a success right there in itself. And I agree. I agree 100%. Now, it's hard to stand out in the NBA, man. But just to make it to the NBA, man, you one of the best players ever. And I stand by that. But getting personal and all that stuff, talking about wives and picking kids up and saying R. Kelly lyrics. That's something else.
Yeah.
I would keep it strictly basketball if I was Kwame Brown. And I mean, but like I said, everybody has a limit, man. He's been hearing how bad of a player he was for over 20 years now. And I think his cup just spilled over.
Yeah.
I would agree, man. Well said. Quinn, we appreciate you, man. And we know you're training right now. How can people find out if they want to get their kids some workouts in?
Hey, man, I'm at Genesis Health Club in Lee Summit off 291 in Deerbrook Road. You can go follow me on Instagram at _betterbyday_. All you got to do is inbox me. We can set up some times and sessions and stuff like that, and we can get the details and everything like that done. And I'm there every single day. So, I mean, it's not that hard. Come on and get some good work in. Steve, you want to come in and do some fitness work? Q, no.
Hey, I want. You know what I want. You know what I want. What time to run?
Action, and he don't want that for real. But
that's what I'm saying. What time and what day? Let the people know what time and what days are the runs.
Mondays at 6:30. Come
Monday,
in and
6:30.
Get some runs on Mondays at 6:30. Again, that's _betterbyday_.
Okay.
I'll be there.
All right, I'll see you 6:30 on Monday. No, Q, I know you ain't want none of that.
I'm gonna be there.
Steve, I know you don't want none of that either. I know you don't want that.
Real
Never
soon.
know. I might just pull up, man.
I had to take you back to them center days, boy. You don't want none of that, bro.
Whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute. All right, that was
man, I appreciate y'all having me on, man. I hope to get on again soon, man. But I gotta get to work here in a second. So, man, I appreciate you.
All right, thanks, man. That was Kansas City basketball star Quinn Day joining us on the show. We're gonna take a quick break. Coming up, we're gonna talk some Spike Lee with Derek Jeter on his new documentary, The Captain. We'll be right back. This is a W Show.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Dre, when he was younger, he loved to smile. And we knew he would need braces because his teeth were coming in funny. That's when he had the bunny rabbits. We called them the bunny rabbit.
Now, those are the same two front teeth there that they are now.
Then Dre ended up having to wear braces for 5 years because he never made it to appointments because he was busy playing basketball. If he missed practice, he don't get to play in the game.
This is the picture that was on the front page of the newspaper. All you can notice is the braces.
Then once he got to Michigan State, he broke the retainer.
My bottom teeth, they were really crooked, and I just wasn't getting braces again. Small Direct Club fits into my lifestyle so well. The liner is so great. It's easy to just grab it and go, and then I can change on the road. I did photo shoots with my liners in, and you can't see them.
I wish Smile Direct Club would have been around when I was paying for them. I wouldn't have had to take them out of school. I wouldn't have had to miss work.
It's like a great feeling to have good teeth. A smile is a first impression. That's why I think having a great smile is so important.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Remember, if you want us to talk about a certain topic, remember #talk about it. Tweet us, text us, message us, send us your topic, and we will definitely talk about it during the show. All right, moving on to the rest of the headlines. You know, this is one that I really wanted to talk about this week. Spike Lee to executive produce upcoming Derek Jeter documentary called The Captain. So the Hall of
Yeah.
Fame shortstop Derek Jeter retired from Major League Baseball back in 2014. And in time since, he's aided a hurricane relief efforts by donating furniture. In addition to hundreds of thousands of dollars, he's become part owner of and chief executive officer of the Miami Marlins. And he's watched legendary athletes after legendary athlete as he's been immortalized forever with thought-provoking documentaries that will celebrate the lives and legacies. And now ESPN has announced that the 5-year World Series champ will finally get his just due with a 6-part documentary titled The Captain. You guys thoughts about that?
I love it. It's about time. And even as a player growing up, in my high school years, just being a middle infielder, Derek Jeter was one of those players that I really liked. I can't say that I necessarily emulated him like I would a Ken Griffey, but he was just one of those consistent players that it just showed you how well if you in baseball, if you had fundamentals, you could be a great player, and he was just consistent at that. There wasn't a moment too big for Derek Jeter, and he has the name that he has simply off being just great and consistent, and not being too flashy of a guy.
Yeah, and I would have to agree with you, Q. And this is going to be a cool thing because a lot of young folks, when ESPN did the Michael Jordan documentary, a lot of kids, of course, they understand the Michael Jordan sneakers. They understand that he was proclaimed as the GOAT, right? Greatest of all time, greatest basketball player ever. But did they really know the type of player and the type of person that Michael Jordan was on the court and off the court? And his documentary explained exactly who he was, and kids were had been able to understand this is the competitive nature that it takes to be the greatest of all time, that it takes to be Michael Jordan, right? So with so many kids of color, right, that don't understand baseball, that think baseball is not the sport for me, baseball isn't cool. Well, now they'll be able to understand that a guy like Derek Jeter made baseball cool. Like they'll be able to see, okay, well, here's a guy that looks like me that made it cool. I kind of want to go out there and play. So I think this will do exactly what the Michael Jordan documentary did for the youth. It will propel the game of baseball, and have kids understand like a guy like this made baseball cool, and it's okay to play baseball because it even though it's not a football or a basketball, we all know those two sports are dominated, right? In the media, and baseball really doesn't get the just due that it needs. But kids will definitely get what they need to get from this because of just who Derek Jeter was, and they'll be able to see the commitment that he had to winning, and also the charisma and the style, the class, and all that. And he's I would say in my era he made the Yankee fitted popular. Not Jay-Z is what people think, but it was definitely Derek Jeter.
Yeah,
I mean, this is interesting for me just because I never really knew anything about Derek Jeter other than the fact that he was a part of one of the most storied and hated franchises in American sports.
Right.
I just knew, coming up as I really was as a kid, I really did like baseball, but it was always, well, we hate the Yankees. You don't like the Yankees.
Right.
Derek Jeter, ew. Like, what's the pitcher's name? Roger
Clemens.
Went to the Yankees. Roger Clemens.
Roger Clemens, yeah.
Like it always seemed like they always got the best players. Like when they took Alex Rodriguez from the Rangers, I was upset about that because I felt like we had the best player in baseball, and somehow the evil empire, they come and take the player away. So it was always we don't like the Yankees. They're kind of like almost like a New England Patriots kind of effect thing, or Dallas Cowboys of the 90s kind of thing, where they're that top franchise and everybody hates them. But I never really did a deep dive into Derek Jeter himself, I never really paid attention. I just thought he was a really great player. So I'm going to be tuning into this just to see kind of who he was as a person. Like, how is this story going to be painted? And I want to see if Alex Rodriguez is going to make it into this documentary, because they got little kind of beef going there. So I would love that. I want to see that.
And you already know, Spike Lee is good at painting pictures. He's definitely good at painting pictures. As far as being able to put a person's life, out there for the world to see. And we've seen a lot of what Spike Lee has done in all of his works in different movies and things like that. So I think he's one of the guys, and he's a New Yorker. So who would understand it better than being right there in the heart of it all than Spike Lee?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Nina King becomes the first woman and person of color to be Duke's athletic director. So to replace the retiring Kevin White, Duke needed to look at the person who worked closest with the longtime athletics director. So Nina King, a rising star in the industry who's worked with White at both Notre Dame and Duke since 2005, will be named Duke's new vice president of athletics and athletics director. Sources with knowledge of the search told the News Observer it's one of those good old boy club moves, which I don't understand how that is, but she's a person of color. It's definitely one of the things that we've been talking about. Put people that look like us in those type of positions. That way, younger kids will be able to see that this is what they're able to do.
Mm-hmm. We love it. And with Kara Lawson being there, I was just going to that picture right there. Yeah, no, that's dope. That's really dope.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to take another quick break. Coming up, we're going to dive into our Hater to Love It with our sneakers of the week. This is the W Show.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Dre, when he was younger, he loved to smile. And we knew he would need braces because his teeth were coming in funny. That's when he had the bunny rabbits. We called them the bunny rabbit.
Now, those are the same two front teeth there that they are now.
Then Dre ended up having to wear braces for 5 years because he never made it to appointments because he was busy playing basketball. If he missed practice, he don't get to play in the game.
This is the picture that was on the front page of the newspaper. All you can notice is the braces.
Then once he got to Michigan State, he broke the retainer.
My bottom teeth, they were really crooked, and I just wasn't getting braces again. Small direct club fits into my lifestyle so well. The liner is so great. It's easy to just grab it and go, and then I can change on the road. I did photo shoots with my liners in, and you can't see them.
I wish Small Direct Club would have been around when I was paying for them. I wouldn't have had to take them out of school. I wouldn't have had to miss work.
It's like a great feeling to have good teeth. A smile is a first impression. That's why I think having a great smile is so important.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Hate it.
It's that time for Love It or Hate It.
Hate it.
If we love it, we talk about it. If we hate it, we move on.
All right, this week's sneakers of the week, we have the Nike Daybreak Type Fresh. You guys thought
interesting?
Yeah,
interesting. I've those look like some what's the Cortezes almost.
Yeah, I have a pair of those Daybreaks, and they're very comfortable, man. Like the thing about it too is that the price point is only $100, 90. I think it's like 90, 100, between $90 and $100. So they're definitely reasonably priced and they're comfortable and they look good.
What are they supposed to be for? Are they like a track shoe or like what are they? Running shoe?
It's supposed to be like a running shoe, but
running shoe. Okay.
Yeah, running type training shoe, but yeah, I like them. Lifestyle shoe for me.
Yeah. It looks like looks like a casual shoe. I wouldn't wear it, but I know Steve, he loves it.
And they have a bunch of different colorways too. So, yep, pretty cool shoe. All right, the Reebok Pump Omni Zone 2s.
Yeah, we know what it is here.
I wasn't able to grab the black pair, but I was able to grab the white pair. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I think I had a pair of these in when did they come out? 90 or 91?
Yep, it is.
Yeah.
These are one of the ones I missed on. I missed. I never had these as a kid, even when they retroed.
I had the pumps. I had the remember LA Gear did the pump as well.
It didn't work as well.
Lights,
It
I had those.
didn't work as well.
Yeah.
All right, then the Jordan Zion 1 Noah's. Ryan Williamson's. This is his second colorway of this sneaker, which he named it Noah because his little brother was able to design these.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm rocking that, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
This looks like a sturdy shoe right here. Looks real sturdy. I'm not gonna lie to you.
And the Clot and Nike Air Max collab. These are pretty dope. I'm really feeling these. We talked about another pair of these a few weeks back, where they have the translucent toe, so you're able to see your toes on the shoe.
Yeah, I'm not rocking with that. Yeah.
Hard pass.
You guys aren't feeling those?
No.
Yeah, I'm cool.
No.
All right, the Ravens announced multi-year partnership with leading sports betting company. Hate it or love it.
You said the Ravens?
Baltimore Ravens, yes.
I don't. So
love it.
All these teams are just kind of partnering with these betting services. Like, is it even illegal at this point anymore?
Well, here's the thing. Some states it's not illegal, and it helps bring in more revenue. If you remember right, these NFL teams have NBA teams, MLB teams. They've lost a lot of money throughout COVID, so you're going to see more and more of these franchises going this way. I mean, even if you look at the NBA, where they allowed partnerships with sponsors and putting those sponsors patches on jerseys, it's just another way to make money for these leagues. And what's the owner's main objective? It's their bottom line. So you're gonna see it. And so the Ravens and BetGM, MGM have teamed up on a multi-year partnership, and both parties have announced the team's chief sales officer, Kevin Rochlitz, was excited about the move to partner with the sports betting giant.
Yeah, no, it's about time that teams get to that point and really start really incorporating the sports betting model. Like you said, it brings in that revenue. Now what the revenue is used for, that could be up for debate. But that revenue definitely could be used, especially for the underserved communities, and helping pop those up and help gain some equity there.
Pro Football Focus ranks Baker Mayfield the 10th best quarterback heading into the 2021 NFL season. Hate it or love it.
Hate it.
So with the year under his belt with Stefanski and continuity in an offensive system for the first time as a pro, expectations for Mayfield are sky high for the 2021 season. Pro Football Focus has high expectations for Mayfield, ranking him the 10th best quarterback for the 2021 season. So for me, I wouldn't say he's top 10. I mean,
no.
Even if you look purely on, and I don't even know if Pro Football Focus is looking just on last year's playoff teams. If you just look at last year's playoff teams, never mind what's going on right now, but look at last year's playoff teams. You have who in the playoffs? You have
Bills.
You have Patrick Mahomes.
Ravens.
Yeah, you have Patrick Mahomes, right? That's one. You also have Ravens, Lamar Jackson, Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers. You have Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Tom Brady, Seahawks, Russell Wilson, Buffalo, Josh Allen, Titans, Ryan Tannehill, Rams, which it was supposed to be Jared Goff, which now is Matthew Stafford because of the trade, with the Lions and whatnot. And then you have Steelers, Big Ben, Roethlisberger, Saints, Drew Brees. Now that's 10 players without even mentioning Baker Mayfield that I feel like are better quarterbacks. And then if you just want to look at this year, now adding in the likes of Deshaun Watson, Cam Newton, Jameis Winston, Dak Prescott,
Jalen
Derek
Hurts.
Carr, Kirk Cousins, Matt Ryan. All those guys are better quarterbacks.
Oh no, we just
than
naming names now. See, I ain't gonna let you do that. I ain't gonna let you do
Jimmy
that.
Garoppolo,
I ain't gonna let you do that to
Joe
Baker.
Burrow.
I ain't gonna let you.
Come on.
I ain't gonna let you do that. We just naming names.
No, and I disagree with it because I'm one of those guys. I need to see more from Baker. I need to see more of him. Being that leader. And I don't feel like he's the leader of that team yet. And he just has a lot of talent around him that really helps cushion his margin of error. And that's
Agreed.
solely in my opinion. But again, also in Baker's defense, he's still a young player. He's still second or third year guy. He's still got room to grow. Of course, he's not a Lamar Jackson. Of course, he's not a Patrick Mahomes, and he probably wants to be that. He wants to be a guy that's revered in that light, and probably wants to make a push towards an MVP. But again, the talent around him, he's not even the best player on his team. So,
Agreed with all of that. But we're not gonna throw out names like Jalen Hurts. We're not gonna. We not gonna.
That's my bias. I threw that
I heard a couple names, Steve, that you ain't gonna do that to Baker.
Name one.
Well, for one, you said Ben Roethlisberger. He's not a better quarterback than Baker at this point in their careers. Like it's over for Ben. It's over for Ben. I mean,
okay, all right. Let me put it to you this way: if you're in a playoff game this year, would you take never mind last year, because last year was kind of that outlier of a season, right? But look at 2020. If you look at 2019, if we're in 2019, and you have Baker Mayfield or Ben Roethlisberger, who are you going with?
I mean, Ben Roethlisberger hasn't been in Ben Roethlisberger hasn't been an elite quarterback for 3 years. Like he hasn't been even a halfway good quarterback in the last 2.
Okay.
So I'm going Baker. Is the younger blood. He's actually able to move around a little bit.
Yeah.
He's one of those game manager quarterbacks at this point, and with room to improve. So I'm gonna go. I don't get the Baker hate, honestly.
No, definitely, it's not even a hate stance for me, because Baker is one of those quarterbacks that you love his tenacity. I think my knock on him is that he's just not the leader of his team, and as a quarterback, you need to be that guy. But again, his talent level is on the rise, and I look at him like I look at a Josh Allen. You get him time around that same team, around those same players, his confidence is going to grow with him. And you have a Jarvis Landry and an Odell Beckham, guys that are very supremely talented, but they also have that confidence behind it, and they never fail at backing it up. And Baker, he's just gonna have those bumps in the road, especially with the organization that he's in. But he has guys around him like Kareem Hunt that can make his job a lot easier. Now he just has to step up to the plate.
Of course. All right. Chiefs wide receiver McCole Hardman races Henry Ruggs, Devin White, and Justin Jefferson for charity. Hate it or love it?
Love it. I love that he won. I'm glad he won.
Hate it.
So Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver McCole Hardman has proven his speed against some of the fastest players in the NFL. Hardman squared off against Raiders wide receiver Henry Ruggs III, Bucks linebacker Devin White, and Vikings wide receiver Justin Jefferson in a 40-yard dash competition. It was dubbed the quicker pick. So McCole Hardman ran a 4.2. Henry Ruggs 4.22, Henry Ruggs 4.26, Devin White 4.37, Justin Jefferson 4.50. So this here, it had me excited for just a little bit until I found out that they were only going to be running a 40-yard dash. Not even in the same spot. So these times are a little off.
Did you hear the range? Like from a 4.22 to a 4.5? No. Yeah, no. Put these guys in line in 4 lanes and let them go at it. Let them compete. I don't want to see them run individually.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And here's the thing about it. Nicole raced Tyreek Hill this past season after practice and lost. So you mean to tell me that Tyreek Hill is running a 4.1? That was what it basically would mean. He'd run a high 4.1 if that's what it means.
Well, I mean, it could mean that he runs up a 4.2 flat.
Hey, it was
hard. That's hard for me to believe. That's hard for me to believe.
Yeah.
So moving on. Here's the thing: the Knicks are expecting 13,000 fans for their first playoff game in 8 years amid easing COVID restrictions. Hate it or love it.
I mean, people are getting vaccinated. It's not much to hate right now. The world is opening back up. Yeah, you hate it because COVID is still a thing. There's still people dying from it. There's still high infection rates. But you really can't hate it at this point. The world is going to open whether you like it or not.
All right, Tony La Russa promises punishment for your men Mercedes after home run with 11-run lead. Hate it or love it.
We ain't trying to hear that. Get out of here.
Hate it.
Let go. Let it go.
Yeah, and then
let's see what happens on that.
Yeah.
2 down, your mean Mercedes against Astudillo, and there's ball 1. Last time Astudillo threw. 2 baseballs he threw registered pitch too slow for StatCast, and I think we're having one of those nights again.
He's going to try to sneak a fastball by him. I'll tell you what, your mean's got a pretty good eye.
We don't need a pitch clock for Astudillo. Oh, he loaded up. Mercedes tattoos it to center. It is gone.
There you go.
A 3.
It's good for baseball. Honestly, it's good for baseball. Baseball needs a little bit of some ruckus.
Yeah,
exactly.
And Steve, you made the point during the Derek Jeter segment about baseball not being able to get over that hump, and this is one of those unwritten rules that baseball needs to get over, and it needs to make the game more exciting. So Tony can retire and be quiet.
Yeah, and I respect the old school aspect of what Tony is saying, and what he said was that his team was up 15-4. They had in a catcher, a position player pitching, throwing 45 miles an hour. Like when the Twins put in the position player, a catcher, to pitch, that means they waved the white flag. And so the third base coach, who gives the signs, told him, said, hey, take all of them, just take them. And what did he do? 3-0 count. He swung for the fences. So I respect the old school aspect, but it's the new game of baseball. In the 90s game of baseball, when we played it, that wouldn't have happened. But now everyone wants to, they want to have fun. You look at the bat toss, you look at taking selfies while running around the bases. But so, like I said, baseball needs this type of ruckus.
And on top of that, baseball is a game of momentum. And I think I read that he was on a hit streak. And he wanted to keep that game hitting streak going. But then on top of that, you still want that momentum. And then how do we not know he had incentive? he has incentives for home runs. So hey, make his money.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Lakers Dennis Schroeder boycotting Kyrie Irving's shoes after altercation. Hate it or love it.
I love it.
Bring it back. Bring all the hate and anger and animosity back to NBA basketball. Just a little bit. Just a tad. Not a lot.
So Los Angeles Lakers star Dennis Schroeder says he's done rocking Kyrie Irving shoes, explaining it's all because the two got into it during the spat and during the game last month. So
love it. I love it.
Well, Yeah, here we go. Another great show today, y'all. As always, we appreciate everyone tuning in, and we also appreciate Kansas City basketball star Quinn Day joining us on the show today. Remember, you can catch a rewind of our show on Mondays, 100.1 FM, 1 Kansas City Radio, anytime on social media. And also, we have a podcast of our show on the Sideline Sports Talk app. Go download it wherever you get your podcast. Next week, we will be right back here. So remember, like us on all social media pages and listen to us on 100.1 FM. We are out of here.
Peace.
The views and opinions expressed on the W Radio Show by the host, co-host, guests, and call-in listeners are solely the opinions and responsibility of the original source who expressed them. They do not represent the opinions of the W Show, 100.1 FM, 1 Kansas City Radio, Sideline Sports Talk, Team Wall Street Foundation, or affiliates.